an Awani, a rat-like humanoid alien who never met a race they didn't want to exploit. Slavers, thieves, and charlatans, they were among the least politically powerful groups on the station, and yet they seemed ubiquitous if you went even a little off the main path. This one likely didn't have good intentions for me. I rounded a corner and saw the last passage I had to walk before making it to Club Pulsar. I sped up to a half-run, and the footsteps behind me sped up too. A new shape broke apart from the deeper shadows ahead and blocked my passage. Another Awani, half its face melted and hairless from some kind of injury, hissed at me. "That's far enough, precious," he said, buck teeth protruding almost comically from his ruined face. "You have to pay the toll if you wants to pass through." "I don't have any money," I said, trying to move aside. The Awani moved to block my path. I took a step back and turned around, only to find the original rat man standing behind me. "We don't want your monies," the rat hissed. His hand darted out and grabbed the fold of my poncho, lifting it away. I yelped, pulling away from him as my minuscule club clothing was revealed by his rude gesture. "Don't fucking touch me," I said, reaching behind me and gripping the handle of the knife strapped to the small of my back. I whipped it out of its sheath and waved it menacingly in front of me. "I'll cut your whiskers off." The Awani's eyes narrowed, and they approached me far more craftily than they had before. I cursed silently. Why couldn't they be overconfident and just walk into my knife like they did on the tri-vid? One of them spun in a tight circle, his tail lashing out with a whip crack. I screamed as a blazing pain tore across the back of my hand. The knife pinged down the metal deck plating, and I decided to yield to the better part of valor and make a run for it. No such luck. A furry hand closed on my wrist. I lashed out with my free hand, my feet, my knees, clubbing the Awani with vehemence, but it didn't do a thing to free my wrist. The other Awani came from behind, its furry arm snaking around my throat and pulling tight. The chokehold squeezed off the flow of blood to my brain, making my vision dim at the edges. Nightmarish despair rolled through me in a wave. I was going down, and most likely I would never get up again. After the Awani had their fun, there probably wouldn't be enough of me left to bury. "Disgusting." A voice cut through the din, deep and cold as outer space, and filled to the brim with revulsion. The arm around my throat loosened slightly, enough that I reclaimed my fading consciousness. I looked toward the voice and found a tall silhouette with glowing red eyes standing there. From the pointed ears and the eyes, I knew what it was. Vinduthi. If you'd grown up watching old vids from Earth, you might be tempted to think of a vampire. That would be a mistake. The Vinduthi were very real. They were very much alive and very, very much feared. It wasn't just for their considerable physical prowess either. They were known to control at least a third of the organized crime on Thodos 3. People who crossed them tended not to live very long. The Awani were either too worked up or too stupid to realize the danger they were in. "You go away, scum," hissed the Awani in front of me, his fingers holding the drawstring on my halter top. "Or wait your turns." The Awani yanked the cord and my breasts came bursting out of my top. I renewed my struggles, digging the point of my elbow into the ribs of the Awani holding me. A wet crackling sound ripped through the air, and the first Awani screamed. "Your filthy hands do not deserve to touch such perfection." I looked up from my struggles to find the Awani staring at the bloody stump of its wrist.